Welcome, brother. It's been too long.
I know, busy fall, mostly good things, but pretty excited about the fact that we got an all Big Ten National Championship here. The semifinals were phenomenal. So hopefully the
dude, let's talk about that first of all, because I don't know that it's ever been that way. Both games, great games. One's in overtime, one's down to the wire. Helton down to the wire last freaking play. They had a shot on their last play of the game. I don't recall it's ever being that way.
You know, last year, somebody reminded me last year, if you can remember, Michigan, TCU, that was a down to the wire. Ohio State, Georgia, down to the wire. So last year was good as well. Then, of course, the mega blowout in the championship game. So, but I still think this was more compelling football on New Year's Day. It was phenomenal, man. I mean, say what you will about the college football playoff, and certainly I've said some negative things about this format, but those two games were phenomenal.
Yes, I am looking forward to. I want Washington to win, and you pointed out you did a poll. What were the results of that poll? I'm curious.
Yeah, so the results I said were, Michigan, Washington, Ohio State, and Michigan State fans kindly don't, vote on this. So basically,
that they followed that rule, right?
Right. Well, I gave a third option, and show me the results. Essentially, what it came out is 2/3 of the people voting are cheering for Washington, and a third were voting or cheering for Michigan. In all honesty, like John and I were joking, I thought Michigan pulled better in that than I thought they would be. I thought it would be like 1-5 or worse. I think that's a detriment to Michigan fans, not over the years. I think everybody in Big Ten countries had at least a run-in or two with Michigan fans. And then obviously all the off-season or off-field is what I should say, stuff with Michigan this year. But got to give the Wolverines credit throughout it all. They've just kicked some butt, 14-0. They deserve to be where they're at.
Yeah. First of all, another reason why I think you can consider this an all Big Ten matchup. The obvious reason that Washington will become an official part of the Big Ten. They're already a part in on paper, but next year they will be official part of the Big Ten. Secondly, Michael Penix, Kalen DeBoer, Nick Sheridan, William Inge. They've got 3 coaches out there, and they're the most prolific quarterback in the country playing for them. So you got that. They got that going for them, which is nice.
And Bill Ennis Inge, a Hawkeye. I played with him at Iowa.
Oh, was he coaching?
There you go. No, he was. We were on the football team together.
No, is he coaching now?
Yeah, I think he's with Washington now, isn't he?
Yeah, I think so.
Bill Ennis and William Inge are the same person, Jim.
Yeah.
Well, so you're calling him by his own name.
I was going to say Bill is short for William.
Yeah, well, I know that, but the Ennis kind of threw me off. I'm like, what?
It would be amazing if there was a William Ennis and a Bill Ennis.
But I never knew that you played with him. That's kind of because he was here for a bit.
Great guy, awesome dude.
Yeah, I was at Indiana for a while. Then you got Tom Allen heading over to Penn State. We've got so many different things we could talk about. That's kind of not unusual. What do you think of that move? Not for him, but for Penn State.
Well, for both, I think it's good. People kind of forget that Tom Allen, when able to concentrate on defense, was a pretty darn good defensive coordinator. That's how he made his way up through the coaching ranks to become the head coach at Indiana. So this is no stranger to him. He's coordinated defenses against, Big Ten teams at Indiana. Now he gets a shot at it with Penn State's talent pool. So, I think some guys
one would just think
to be they're just meant to be coordinators. Okay.
Absolutely.
Phil Parker is a defensive coordinator. I don't think he's fit to be a head coach. In all honesty, I don't think Chip Kelly wants to be a head coach anymore. I think he wants to be strictly a play caller and OC. I would say the same thing about Tom Allen. He did some good things at Indiana, but I think his true calling is coordinating defenses.
I absolutely agree with you 1000% on that. Looking forward to this weekend or Monday's game, though. I love what Washington does. I know that they don't blow people out, or they haven't been here of late, but what they have done is just win every day. You better not have the ball in their hands at the end of the game with the game on the line. You don't want to be on the other side of that.
No, absolutely. If I'm a Washington Husky fan, my podcast partner for the season this year, Jordan Eggleston, he's a Michigan guy. We recorded on it. And one of the things I wanted to say that I forgot to say when we recorded was, if I'm a Washington fan listening to us talk, I'm thinking, well, another doubter, right? Another team that thinks they're going to beat us. They were underdogs in the Pac-12 championship after beating Oregon earlier in the year. A lot of people had Texas over Washington. They beat them both. So here comes Michigan. It's another team. I get it. This is a gritty Washington team. They come up with the big plays when they need to. That's how you get to 14-0. So if Washington wins this game, if Penix goes off, because it's just a passing attack that Michigan just has really not seen this year, I can see all of those things happening. I got nothing but respect for Kalen DeBoer and Penix, but I don't know. This is a different beast. I believe they're going up against with the Wolverines.
Yeah, and I understand that because their defense is undoubtedly stout, but as is Washington and the weapons. It's not just Michael Penix. It's Roma Dunze, the other receiver. I can't think of his name right now. They don't have, and it's not just Roma Dunze. They've got multiple guys that they can throw that ball to. But gee whiz, the balls that Penix was throwing in that semifinal game, I'm like, it looks like an Air Force heat-seeking missile that he's throwing for 60 yards that just lands in the hands of these guys. It's incredible.
Well, it's funny you said Air Force reference there, because Chris Fowler called Washington, said they had a squadron of offensive weapons. Dunze, Jalen Polk, Jalen McMillan, their tight end Westover is good. I'm with you. I mean, the Penix's ability to quickly break down what the defense has given him and just rip it, it's phenomenal. I mean, it's all gas, no brakes when he is back there throwing the ball. But I tell you what, running back Dylan Johnson, who is their hammer on offense, went out of that game. That's a short turnaround. This isn't a month off. This is just a week. That is a big deal. I'm surprised I'm not seeing more out of it. I know Washington said he's going to play in the game. How healthy he is, or if he actually plays, I got to see that with my own two eyes. And then on the other side, Alabama is pretty good at getting talent, developing talent, and putting them in a good place to win. Michigan's offensive line gave up 1 sack and 1 TFL versus Alabama. On the flip side, Michigan had 6 sacks and 10 TFLs in that Rose Bowl game. Michigan has been the best team in the country all year long. The only thing that was holding them back is the media bias against Big Ten teams and the fact that they played in quote unquote the weak Big Ten in that schedule. I've never bought it all year long. I've watched this team with my own 2 eyeballs, and I'm telling you, I think this Michigan team has been on a mission since the offseason.
Well, I'm sure they have. Ask Connor Stallions. He'll talk about mission. He's been on a mission. He was on several missions over the last 2 seasons.
But even after all that stuff's gone down, they go into their tougher part of their schedule and they play Penn State, Maryland, Ohio State, Iowa, and Alabama. Guess what? 5-0 every single one. And I can tell you, they were the better team. They should have beat Alabama by 14 or more points. They just played sloppy enough to keep Alabama in the game. But when it was time to go, they just overwhelmed them.
Yeah, I agree with you, and the same with Washington. That game should have been a little bit wider than it was. The thing that changed that was that friggin' muffed punt, because that was a 21-point turnaround. Instead of Michigan or Washington being able to take that down and score, boom, they allow Texas to score instead. So instead of it being 21-7, now it's 14-14. Although they came back and scored again right after that, it was never the difference that it would have been. It would have been a 3-score game, but
I had Washington in the 4 points, so I'm with you there. 3.5 points, I think I got it at. So I'm with you there. But yeah, both teams, it was a muffed punt that stopped their team probably from really running away or just proving even more so that they were the better team. Special teams matter. So one would guess that the special teams will be a little bit cleaner for both teams in this game, but we'll see.